In early 2005, I decided I needed a change, and I decided to leave St. Cloud. I said goodbye to my college friends and returned back to my parents' house in Lindstrom, Minnesota. I knew if my aviation career was going to end up a success, I had to find a different way, so I enrolled in Regional Airline Academy in Mesa, Arizona. This video is a chronicle of that journey. In many ways, this video represents a sort of coming of age for me, in which I experienced some of the most raw and basic times in my life. In an effort to preserve that nostalgia, I have decided to keep this video as raw as possible, and besides a little background music, I will be doing no voiceover. You are now experiencing this time in my life just as I experienced it in 2005. Enjoy. Welcome to my journey. I'm standing out on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere in Pipestone County, southwestern Minnesota, and I've come across one of these things, a gigantic windmill, and actually I'll kind of look around here. They're pretty much like just caked on the land side for as long as I can see in every direction. There's got to be like 200 of them. I don't know. They're all over. And there's a nice breeze here. We're kind of on some high country, and so I'm doing a 360 here, and you can see that these things are just everywhere, and they're really huge. And so they seem like they're not moving really fast, but really if you look at it and think about how fast the tip of that blade's moving, it's moving along pretty good. So I just thought I would share the windmills. I'm hoping to see some windmills like this down in the southern states. I'm guessing there'll be bigger and more of them. But it's kind of neat to see a handful of these guys right here in Minnesota. It is Friday, February 18th, and I am just out of Sundance, Wyoming. Here's a look at the horizon just before sunset. I'm sitting currently at 5,300 feet, and I'm headed up the road to Devil's Tower. Not another person on this road. Well, here I am at Devil's Tower, and I purposely got here in the morning so I would just get the sunlight on the tower so it's all lit up. It is quite the sight. Words can't even describe how huge this thing is. I'm probably still a good mile away from it. There's a little video to show everyone the road I'm on. I'm headed up to Mount Evans, and apparently the last road is closed, so I may not be able to get all the way up there. There it is, probably in the background there. But I want to go as far as I can and get as high as I can, and maybe hike a little if I can't drive any farther. So just thought I'd show you what this road is like. It's really cool. It is Saturday, February 19th, and I am on my way hiking back down Mount Evans, which is a 14,000 foot peak in the Colorado Rockies. The road is pretty snowed in, and so no one is able to drive it, so I had to hike up a ways. Actually getting to the summit, which is what I wanted to do, would have been impossible today because I started so late. I'm on a packed trail now, but some of the places that I found I was hiking and the snow was waist deep. I am standing in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains. I don't know if you can see, but if I go like this, there's some mountains out there in the far, far distance. Some big ass crows. Yeah, there's not much out here. I've been walking through pretty much waist deep snow. You can't hardly walk. I cut off the trail with my GPS and decided to cut the switchback, which has been good exercise, but hasn't been fun. I've been moving along really slow. So now I'm standing at a frozen swamp, and the road is just right over there in front of me, about, I don't know, maybe 100 yards. So once I get to that, I'll be good, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to get to there. So we'll see how it goes. Up there, let's see if I can get it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it'll kind of get grainy. Let's see if I can. That right there is the top of Mount Evans. 14,000 feet, and that's a ways above me. Zoom back out. Right now I'm sitting at 10,617 feet. You can probably, let's see here. Well, maybe you can't see it, but anyway, I went up to about 12,000 feet, and then decided to turn back. It'd be fun to go all the way to the top, but I started too late in the day, and it's a long hike. But I'd definitely like to come out here in the summer, because then the road will be open, and I won't have to hike it. That was fun. I'm just sitting here, and I hear something, and the balloon goes bouncing by. How funny. Middle of the Colorado Rockies, and there's a blue balloon bouncing along in the snow. That's great. That's real great. Well, on back to the tractor, I guess. wanted to take a little video. This is coming down the hill through the Vail, Colorado area, and got some low clouds in the valley here and some sun in the background. Kind of cool looking. I think it's kind of funny. I really am not driving that fast. I am in four-wheel drive high, but these road conditions are nothing compared to Minnesota, and people are doing like 15 miles an hour, which I think is kind of funny. But anyway, trying to get to Aspen to pick up Brad. Having a good time, I guess. Okay, so Brad and I are now together, and we're at the Colorado National Monument, just really close to the Utah border. And I just want to show everyone this. Here's a look at the road that we're driving up, and here is Bill parked on the side of the road, and there's Brad, and here's the canyon. We're going to show you that, like, if Brad takes 2 more steps, he's going to fall about 1,500 feet. And in this case, he doesn't have wings. Holy shit. It's really far down.
Do you think that would hurt?
It's really, like, yeah, I don't even want to video this. It's really, really far down. I'm going to hold my through a rock.
Yeah, you'd bounce.
Yeah, so it's, oh, and then you can kind of see back there, and there's some mountains way off in the distance, some snow. Yeah, very, very cool. Okay, running a little video here. Brad and I, it is now, what are we on? Wednesday morning? No, Tuesday morning, right?
Yeah.
And we're driving through Salt Lake City area, and you can kind of see it maybe in the video. The whole like edge of town to the east is just packed with mountains, nice big white peaks, very picturesque, and just kind of what you expect to see in like a mountain background. To the left, there's a few mountains, but pretty much everything over there is the Great Salt Lake. And we have, actually Brad noticed that there's an island on a map that is a state park, and there's a road going out to it, so we are headed up to drive out on that island and explore it a little bit before Brad's got to catch his flight. So we'll have more video and pictures once we get there. Okay, we are now on the causeway going out to Antelope Island, which is an island out in the Great Salt Lake. And here I'm starting at Bill. I'm going to kind of look around here, and hopefully you can kind of see that there's not much out here. We've got mountains in every direction in the far distance. Here's the island out this way. The average lake depth is 13 feet, which we thought was kind of interesting. And right now they are on an average low. There's like hardly any water here. It's pretty cool. Now here's looking back towards Salt Lake, and you can't even see the city. I feel like we're in the middle of nowhere, even though there's like a million people like right there. And it's pretty cool. So we're just headed out to the island. Hopefully we see some antelope or some sort of the wildlife out there. It's an island, so they can't get far. We'll corner them. It is Wednesday morning. I am standing in Arches National Park, and there's nothing that I could do, say, no pictures or anything else to explain this land. It is incredible. What you're looking at here is the LaSalle National Monument in the park, and I'll do a little scan around. There's just not a lot out here but dirt and big rock formations, and it's just incredible. I mean, this is the sort of land I have been longing to travel through for a long, long time. It is so cool. And the tracker is a perfect vehicle for it as well. It's the land of Edward Abbey. I'm standing on a four-wheel drive trail in Arches National Park, and off in the distance you can see balanced rock, and there's some clouds, and this is pretty much a high point where you can see off into the distance for a ways, but because of the clouds and everything, it's a little restricted today. The National Park guide told me that about in this area right here is where Edward Abbey's trailer that he lived in sat. Back in the late 1950s and early 1960s, Edward Abbey was a national park guide and kind of a caretaker. Very controversial beliefs about many different things. I've read many of his books, and I'm a very big fan. So to be able to drive down through this land and know that these are the rocks that Edward Abbey walked over is pretty incredible. He also in his books mentions juniper trees all over, and as you can see there's a juniper, and it's pretty incredible land. I'm now standing in the Canyonlands. I'm not actually in the national park, but close by, and a little winded because I've been hiking around. This is the area that is world famous for off-roading and 4x4ing, and although I'm not equipped for many of the trails, I felt that I needed to get on a few of them. So there's a look at the canyons, and got some nice plateaus over there, and nice rock I'm standing on, and up there on the top of that rock there I managed to get Bill. The other side wasn't quite as steep, but it was a good time. And now I'm going to hop back on the trail and head towards the Canyonlands National Park.
Oh my gosh!
It's a complete hailstorm in southern Utah. We've got a hailstorm. There's hail all over. This is awesome. Oh man. This is crazy.